Now we come to the point of weddings.
Yes.
Weddings. I think that one is in the Bible. The first miracle Jesus did
Yes, it
was
was in a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks like there is, in the New Testament at least,
Yes,
there's a wedding
there are
that we can
weddings.
talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain this kind of wedding that Jesus went to? What was it like, the Jewish one?
Well, it was Jewish. I haven't studied much on Jewish weddings, but I know they probably had a huppah. A huppah is that what we'll call nowadays a pagoa. It's a tent made out of wood and then fabric on top, and then you decorate it. And that was now for the bride and the groom. It was probably done at one of the homes. It was probably in the evening. There was wine.
Wine like juice?
No. There was wine.
Like chamdo.
No, that's 0% alcohol. This had a percentage of alcohol.
Okay. Now,
yeah, but
so
anyway,
what Christ turned into wine, the water,
yes.
the wine that he turned it into,
Yes.
was not juice?
No, it was not juice.
Okay, let's stop it.
We are now going into another explain.
Yes. So for now, just the wedding.
Yeah. So
Jesus is invited to the wedding with the family because the mother is there.
Yeah.
And this guy, the wedding planner, I think they had a manager. So what is it called? A master.
The
of
master of
ceremonies.
the yes, probably master ceremonies now, but it yes, you use
Somebody was
that
in charge
word,
of the wedding
on
behalf of the bride and the groom.
Yes.
So this didn't start.
It didn't start now. It's not a modern idea.
But also, it looked like many young people getting married. These guys were not prepared.
Yeah.
Because the wine ran out when it was needed.
When it was needed, yes. They hadn't thought of everything.
Jesus didn't rebuke them.
No.
He didn't tell them no.
He stepped in.
He stepped in and sorted the issue.
I think as we are having this discussion, and even going back to the one of the dowry, one of the hearts that I feel I want to fight is the heart of making things hard for the bride and the groom, especially. Taking out you make a joyful thing a burden. Yes.
So wedding should be something everyone is looking forward to, even the bride and the groom, not something stressful, burdening.
Yes. When you take out the love, because that's the basic aspect, when you cease to have love for this couple and you start putting on these little things that are burdening them, that is what. So Christ, in his reaction, was, how can I make this day better for them? I don't tell them, no, he didn't begin a sermon. Wine leads to drunkenness and
you should have had enough.
Yes, or you should have had enough. You people do not plan yourselves. Why didn't you ask God?
You're talking like one of our people.
So instead he thought to himself, how can I make this day better? Wacha hata niwafunike embarrassment. Make it even better. You know, like the comment was, you saved the best wine for last, you know, so making their ceremony even better. And even making their ceremony unique. By, you see, sometimes we say, tunafanyanga vitu hivi.
Kwa
hii kanisa yetu tunafanyanga vitu hivi. But you see, he's brought a different aspect to the ceremony. They say, oh, you left. Hey, we went to so and so's wedding. Then they brought the best wine after.
So don't make yours like that and copy paste. No, we should be like Jesus also, in the sense of you see, he is the one who made this miracle, but he never went to say, you know, the wine that you're drinking now.
Yeah, I'm the one.
That's me. Like some people will buy sodas and they'll go, I'm the one who bought this sodas. Otherwise, if it was not for me, this wedding would not have happened. So I think then Jesus, in being part of a wedding and helping it move forward, he gives it a rubber stamp. That weddings are good things.
Yes.
And now, what is a wedding basically? If you were to reduce it to them. The basic elements.
Bare minimum. If you were to reduce a wedding to the bare minimum, it's the point. Now, if we talk about in the church context, body of Christ, believers, the bare minimum is that point where you are prayed for by the pastors and dedicated to the Lord.
Okay. So the God's representative, authority, is basically saying this is what has been agreed upon here on earth has also been agreed upon in heaven.
Yes.
That is the wedding.
Yes, that is the wedding.
That is the covenant now.
Yes.
The part that needs to happen for that to be the wedding.
Yes, the beginning now of the marriage.
Okay.
Yes, the
From that
ceremony
moment on,
to begin the marriage.
From that moment on, you are married.
Yes.
So why all the other things, ulabalu, other things around it? And if that is the case, actually, it means anyone can get married.
Yes, yes. There is no restriction, especially financial. Because it's also a celebration. So it's a good thing, so we celebrate it. And then now that's where, because it's a celebration, it has all these added things. And then we all have our ideas and we add that on. And drawing back from when it was two families, just two families, there was still a celebration that went along with whatever
celebration
mode.
normally required food, drinking.
Yes, a place for the guests to sit, and the rest.
And people dressing nicely.
And people dressing nice. It's a special occasion, an honorable occasion. Yeah.
So how far can we go with that? What is also do we have to even add anything?
We don't have to add. If there are financial constraints, yes, financial. I think what depends on is the financial muscle of you and your community.
Okay. Yeah. So as much as whatever you have, that's what you will use to make that event beautiful.
Yes.
Without getting into that.
Nobody should take a loan for a wedding. That's.
You've had, and there's no also Fuliza or Hustler Fund, no for a wedding. That one, no.
Not necessary.
Yeah. Okay. So, and the ones now taking that on one side, that what we've described, versus what we see, a modern Kenyan church wedding.
Yes.
Where have we got it wrong?
Where have we got it wrong? We've got it wrong in the extremes, I think. Like we were saying, you don't need money, but we also don't need to be stingy. So that I will tell people, I'm going to pastor's office to get married. Sina pesa kununulia soda. And also sometimes the community around us, because I remember I said your and your community's financial muscle. We should not leave the only times we come together to be funerals.
Yeah.
Because one of the excuses I've had people saying is, kwa nini hawajajipanga, harusi sio emergency. It's like, but even funerals are not an emergency, but we still rally around people.
We all know we'll die.
Yes. And why not and why not rally around this person and their family in a joyous occasion? Because right now, with the very few celebrations we have in the church context, we have very few. So why not continue rallying around each other for weddings? And then on the other hand, there is the extravagance of just to make a statement and like say going into debt so that I have a helicopter, and people talk about call it the wedding of the year. The problem is it's never the wedding of the year, it's just the wedding of that Saturday. Yes. Next week there will be another wedding that will trump yours, you know. And there's always the royal families whose weddings will always trump any other wedding. So those statements we are making make us feel good for that day until the sun sets, and then reality hits you. Everyone has gone home and they don't really care. They are thinking about they're talking about the next wedding. So having it in between, and when you focus on the right things, then that wedding will actually be remembered. Things will be talking like, wow, I remember 5 years ago. So and so's wedding was so joyful. It rained, but we danced in the rain. You know, those are the things. If you have the right, people will not remember the food, but they'll remember the feeling.
Yeah, that time.
It was the Spirit of God there.
Okay. Okay, and then as you were talking, there's a group of young people, even in our church, who don't have much, but they really look forward to the weddings, and that's a very good thing that you've encouraged. These young people barely working, but when there's a wedding, they want to be involved. Yeah. And some people from outside may think, these guys don't have money. You need people who have money. Even for our wedding, the people who made it work mostly were Youth for Christ. Young people, no money, but they ran around and made it happen. It provides God, basically, for that. Yeah. And the bottom line of this story is, whatever you have, use it to make that event beautiful. God also, as you look in the Old Testament, every major event celebration had food accompanying it, celebration. People were happy, and there was only one day in the year, as the Day of Atonement, that people were fasting. Yeah. Otherwise, every other event, people were eating for 1 week. So God is also very liberal, and He wants people to have a good time. Yeah. And that's part of worship. Okay. So the weddings we have now, the concept of, especially the church, what we call church weddings. Yeah. Where did we get them? Because we don't see even in Africa where there's people being asked to come with a gown and suit. There are no suits and gowns either. So, not only do we call them church weddings, I think one of the other things I want to debunk is calling it a Christian wedding. And it's big, you know, you must have a Christian wedding. Otherwise it doesn't count. Yeah. So, a quick caveat, a quick insert here. I work for a ministry called Ruby's Magazine, where we publish magazines online, and we have an article on this coming in our next magazine. You can find us online. One of the things I said is there's no such thing as a Christian wedding, just as there's no Christian school or a Christian dog. It's the two individuals who are born again, and those are the ones who are Christian. So the ceremony itself, there's no such thing as Christian. It's two believers Christians getting married. Yes, two believers getting married. But yeah, so what we have right now, the white gown, walking down the aisle, the longer the better. Most of it is Western. From a bit further and a bit northern. Yes, Western world, and in particular Europe and the UK. And I guess it's more because the people who colonized us, the missionaries, they brought with them their kind of ceremonies. Because they're the ones who brought Christianity to larger Africa. They also came with their traditions and cultures. Yeah, so they didn't tell us, no, this is ours, this is the Bible. No, they brought them together. They equated the two. So when I was preparing this, I was actually thinking, had we been, had the missionaries come from maybe the East, maybe our wedding traditions would have looked more Eastern. Indian or Russian or yes, Chinese. Or Chinese in nature. Yeah, so but this is, so the ceremonies that we have date back to Europe, and some of them even the Victoria, especially the Victorian era. So Queen Victoria. Queen, yeah. There was a queen, grandmother of Queen Elizabeth. Yes, yeah. So they date back to then, but even further back to ancient Rome. A lot of pagan Rome. Yes, pagan Rome. A lot. When I started researching this, my mind had stopped at Victorian age, but actually a lot of the things that we have go back to pagan Roman practices, wedding practices. Okay, let's go see if we can. Yes, let's look at a few. Let's begin with that one. The white gown. The white gown. So the white gown in particular. Must it be white? Yes, yes, that's yeah. So Queen Victoria was the first bride to wear a white gown. It wasn't actually white, it was champagne. So that's off-white. Okay. It's an off-white color. That to be white? Yes. Okay. And she wore that because she felt it goes well with her complexion. And there was a lace that she had that she felt this color matches. What is a lace for the men? Oh, okay, I'll use that word, net. Oh, yes, like the mosquito one, now different. But prettier. Yes. But it wasn't the veil, it was just the lace that she had, I think, to overlay her dress. That was. So there's a dress inside and then the net. Yeah, yeah. So she felt it was basically a fashion choice. I feel nothing informed her apart from just my complaint. It looks nice on me. Yes. Okay. Before that, wedding gowns were actually colorful. And the richer you are, the more colorful your dress and more elaborate. So the poorer you are, you may have worn a more simpler, plain colored dress. But it wasn't that it was white. That's where it started. But before that, they were colorful dresses. And even when you look at, like, because the Eastern cultures have held more to their original cultures, you can still see Indians and Chinese, they wear red Yeah.
They wear more
for, the wedding, yes.
for their weddings, and that is because it's a symbol of prosperity.
For them, those colors mean that.
Yes.
So this Queen Victoria, she's worn that white.
Yeah.
What was the groom wearing?
I have no idea.
I'm guessing it's the suit.
Yes, he was wearing probably a suit matching the times, most likely black, black with a white something
shirt
on the inside. Yes. Again, a lot of these traditions fall more on the bride for some reason.
And the ones normally would dress the husband.
Yes.
The groom, so we are innocent.
But as in generally, even just wedding, whatever goes around a wedding ceremony, a lot of it seems to fall on the bride. Yes.
And then it became fashion.
Then it became because Queen Victoria was influential. So now after that, it was just a transformation of the style of the dress itself in line with whatever was fashionable in that season throughout. But now it remained white.
Central to that. And also, I'm guessing
if
it was a video or a photography, it was invented by that time. It looked white.
Yeah.
There was no color.
Yeah.
So probably people are thinking she's wearing white, then white became the thing.
It became the thing.
Okay.
Some people also talk about it being a symbol of purity.
That's what I've heard in church.
However, when you look at history, actually the color of purity was blue. It varied some places. Some places it was white, some places it was, but it was blue. So that there's a rhyme that says something blue, something borrowed, something white that goes along with weddings. So that was where the something blue came about, a sign of purity. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just white that was supposed to mean pure.
No. Yeah.
Okay. That's the gown.
That's the gown.
The rings.
The rings. So the rings.
Let me tell you what they say in church first. Before. You see, this ring is round. It does not have an end. That's what you want your love to be, without an end.
Yes. It's true, exact, true, but it comes from ancient Egypt. So the rings were first used in Egypt, and yes, they'll say because it is round, it means no end, and then the hole in the middle means entering into an
the hole in the middle.
See this the hole in the as in this part.
Inside the circle.
Yes. Means it's a symbol of your entering into an uncertain eternity.
Uncertain
eternity, yes.
With the pharaohs?
No, not with. No, as a couple.
Okay. So they were also used in weddings.
Yes, it was a wedding ceremony, but theirs was various material, including even just reeds that are tied into a ring. Then when the Romans came to Egypt, they took it and then they escalated it. Now they decided gold is the material to be used for wedding rings. And then once things like and the same applies for engagement rings. Once also colonization happened and more minerals were found, like South Africa, they found diamonds. That's when now you started having diamonds.
Tanzanites.
Yeah, you start having diamonds in your rings and things like that. So the origin.
So we should thank the Egyptians.
Yes, thank the Egyptians for the rings.
Thank you, Pharaoh.
So, but we cannot, you see now that because it's something that we've borrowed, we should not then make it the law.
Yes,
that it's
Christian. The problem is making it. You make it feel like it's biblical.
Now, historically, how it became a church thing, it's the Catholic Church. Hopefully, we'll come and talk a bit again about the ceremonies and how they came into church. The Catholic Church, when they made weddings a sacrament, they also said that the ring is the symbol for the sacrament. So that's how it became Christian.
So it became a sacrament is a very important aspect and component of Christian worship. So when they said weddings are that sacred also, the wedding rings were given as the symbol for that sacredness. And that's how we also now borrowed from the Roman Catholic Church. And you can see Egypt, Rome, Roman Catholic. Yes. That's where we are now as Christians. It's good to have them, but not to be thinking this is theologically,
yes,
biblical, Christian thing.
It will take me to heaven or not.
Yes. Because even, remember, for the kisses, if I'm correct, the thing that they used to do was to put an anklet.
An anklet, yes. Yeah.
The foot. So if you see a woman with that an anklet, you know this one is married.
Yeah. Some do a nose ring. There's the Indians who do the binding of the hands, and I think also the Jews, if I'm not wrong, the priest or whoever the religious leader is, binds your hands with a cloth, but then there's nothing else after that.
You don't have something to go with.
Yes, yes.
So those are the rings. Now